red pill PUAs, red pill gurus, red pill dating experts, red pill experts on women are a thing that has been around forever, pretty much, at least in internet terms. But overwhelmingly, the thing about them is that they're male. Most of them are male. But one thing you'll notice has happened in recent years has been the emergence of ever more females offering advice to men about what to do concerning women. And not all of them style themselves as such, as red pill, but it's always a perspective approaching men from a place of compassion and understanding and what have you. And they do try to approach it differently from the typical standard male PUA or red pill expert. And they are effectively a type of guru. But before we proceed to the women themselves and what it is they might be offering or what they might be attempting to achieve, I think it's important to clarify what the issue is with gurus or guruism. The issue with gurus is quite simple. To illustrate this issue, I'll give you an example of what a guru is not. So imagine you had some issue with your skin. For some reason, you had a skin outbreak on your hands and your wrists, and you had no idea why, and uniquely it would appear and pop up only in that area of your body, and you wait a couple of days and it doesn't go away, and you try different things that are conventional, it doesn't go away, and so you resolve to make an appointment with a dermatologist. And you go to the dermatologist, and you're not a dermatologist. You go there, the dermatologist looks at your hands and your wrists and says, aha, I know exactly what that is. I've seen it a million times, yada, yada, yada. This is the treatment. You get a prescription cream, whatever, and you're thinking, great, he really helped me. And you're about to leave the office. And then the dermatologist says to you, hold on, we're not done. We need to talk about your stock options. And after that, we need to talk about the type of job you're supposed to be doing. And after that, we need to talk about your dating strategy, and so it goes. You see, the issue with gurus fundamentally is that they are A, self-appointed, and B, talk in the broadest of terms about things that they may or may not know anything about, which is to say they're not giving you specific advice or information about something that they have some experience in or expertise or specialization. Because it's one thing, again, to go to a dermatologist if you have a skin issue, or to go to an auto mechanic if you have problems with your car, because they know what they're doing, presumably. Or even in the realm of asking for advice or help. If you went to someone with specific questions, or a specific set of questions about something they've had experience in, that's one thing. But the problem with the guru and guruism as a whole is that it inevitably turns into some kind of life advice. And life has no expert. There's no specialist in life. There's no one who has mastered it, despite what some people claim. And famously, it always ends fatally. So, although you can appeal to people and ask them questions, and they can help you in their respective domains, it's fundamentally a different thing when somebody comes out of nowhere and says, I know and I have the answers. And that's the issue with guruism in general. Dating guruism is arguably even worse in some ways than just your conventional run-of-the-mill guru or guruism, because it is playing with fire. Now, one of the reasons why everyone feels empowered and enabled and in a position to talk about dating and mating is because, in some sense, virtually everyone has a stake in it, right? It's very different from a different type of specialization. Auto mechanic or dermatologist are earlier examples, veterinary medicine, very specific things. Not everyone feels they have a stake in veterinary medicine, engineering, and the list goes on and on. But in a similar vein to politics, everyone feels connected, and everyone has a view of what goes on in the mating and dating game. Whether that view is well informed, whether it is informed by evolutionary theory or not, whether it's a very blue pill perspective on things, all these things are views that people have, and they feel connected to it because, again, everyone thinks that they have a stake in mating and dating. And this is where the opportunistic guru comes in, who claims to have figured it all out. And we know this type. We've borne witness to this type over the years. Again, overwhelmingly in the majority, these are males. But in recent years, there have been these females, a female influx of so-called dating gurus. Sometimes they use the term red pill, sometimes they don't. But what are they really trying to achieve? What are they trying to do? Well, for one thing, I think like any of these gurus, they're in it for themselves. I don't think they're really trying to help with the situation as it stands now. But what they are doing, from what I've observed, and I don't need to name names, you might know a few of these, is attempt to inject a different presentation of what is sometimes referred to as female nature broadly into the conversation coming from a woman, claiming they understand men and how difficult it is for men and so on and so forth. Women, after all, allegedly, are the compassionate ones of the human species. And so they at least try to present an air of compassion towards men. Now, as many of you probably know, typically women only show compassion to male relatives or their sons. This is not something that they're known for. Men that they're not related to or that they don't have designs on are largely irrelevant and invisible to them. But there's a market, as it were, for these types of females to come in and say, look, I understand how rough it is. I understand that the dating and mating market is completely messed up. I understand, and I know how to fix it. Because there are good women out there like me. Obviously, this is a nuanced take, and they'll say, I'm not like that. And what's more, I'm not like that, and I'm going to show you how to find women just like me who are not like that. What do I think is going on here? Ultimately, I think this is a kind of paint job. I think that things are so rotten in the Kingdom of Denmark between men and women that some people, specifically some females, but not just females, a lot of people, but specifically in this subset of females, these female dating gurus, have taken it upon themselves to try to mitigate some of the damage that has been ongoing for decades, because they know how messed up stuff is. But on top of that, most men operating online, not all of them, but most men have some sense that men and women are different. And both of them trend towards certain things and have tendencies they exhibit. And so these women are out there trying to bridge this gap, trying to mitigate the damage that has been done over decades and decades and continues to be done. And there's a market for it, because they know that a lot of men online, not all of them, but a lot of men understand that men and women are different, that the game is rigged, that things between men and women probably never were particularly good, and that in light of that, a lot of men are simply distrustful of women. And so in a way, in a sense, in contrast to some of the red pill gurus, the male ones, these female dating gurus who appeal to men, they're not trying to offer advice to women in these cases. Their channels are almost exclusively directed at males, are trying to put a paint job, as I said, on a lot of this stuff and say, no, it's not that bad. I'm not like that. And you can find somebody just like me, or at least somebody who's similar enough, who doesn't have these horrible qualities. Because they realize levels of distrust coming from men towards women are probably at an all-time high. And in that situation, what do? You try to pretend that there should be trust and there should be a reason to pursue these things. And some of these women who operate these channels walk a very fine line between perfect honesty and the paint job they like to give to things. They'll never outright say that this is X and X quality is the way it is, whether bad or good. They'll try to circumscribe it. They'll try to make it sound a little bit nicer, not as extreme. And of course, there's some men that buy it hook, line, and sinker. But my view is that irrespective of these female dating gurus, and I have to say I'm speculating as to their intentions, whatever their intentions are, the damage that has been done is probably irreparable. The damage that has been done between men and women through cultural and social changes, by way of political movements, by way of everything, it's not to be fixed. Gurus are addressing problems that are so massive in scope, and oftentimes so much without a solution, that it really gets the noggin jogging as to why they're doing what they're doing. If there's no end goal, or the end goal is unreasonable, for example, things like the self-improvement treadmill, you always have to keep on it until you drop dead, then it prevents you from digging down more deeply, realizing sometimes that some things have finite limits and limitations. It's not as easy as simply saying, do X, Y, Z, and you'll be fine. But the guru, speaking in the broadest of terms, does just that. He has a vague plan, but it's never specific. Or in this case, she has a vague plan, but it's never specific. And they're there to glorify themselves, whether men or women, and they're almost certainly not there to help you. Things that actually have simple solutions don't sell well. Things that have no solutions potentially do sell well because the solutions presented are largely illusory by the gurus. And if there's no solution to something, for example, let's say you're a 5'3" male, to quote the black pill types, it's over. Now you might be able to emigrate somewhere and find a new wife. That might be a solution, but in general, there aren't many things you can do. There's no real workaround in that case. But the guru would come by and say, no, you can do something. This is what you need to do. Should you listen to the gurus, specifically these female dating gurus? Maybe for some amusement. But I don't think you're going to learn anything of actual value, and I don't think you're going to get anything that's honest from them. It is a job they're doing and performing. And I couldn't help but notice that there are ever more of them as the years roll by, presenting themselves as fixers and offering quote-unquote solutions. If the solutions were so simple, these problems wouldn't exist in the first place. And then they would be out of their part-time job. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you've not yet done so, hit the bell icon to be informed of my videos, and if I'm still alive, I will check you out later. May the gods watch over you. Take care. Bye-bye. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoy my content, please consider making a donation or becoming a patron. Thanks for watching.